FAA says it will fly several drones to test out new drone detection technology. Those flights will take place near Cape May, New Jersey, over a 2-week period beginning Monday. There was a spike in mystery drone sightings in the Garden State late last year and near major airports in some other states. The FAA says it plans to conduct similar tests in New Mexico, North Dakota, and Mississippi later this year.
They're unsure who's operating the drones, but they suspect whoever it is filming them at the same time. Tanya Esparza captured these images of the drone. She and her neighbors tell us they did see a small red flashing light on the drone, leading them to believe the drone was recording images. In Washington State, the use of drones and model aircraft is prohibited in areas where there is a reasonable expectation of privacy.
We were getting ready to head to work, and there was a drone hovering right above our house, and it was there for at least 20 minutes. And then when I took my phone out to take pictures of it, it scooted over a couple houses down and hovered there for a bit. And it was pretty unsettling and felt like a big invasion of our privacy.
Neither Tanya or her neighbors filed reports with Spokane Police. We also did reach out to the Spokane Police Department. While they don't know for sure, they say it is possible that these could potentially be SPD drones hovering around the neighborhood. They tell us SPD's air support team is used for tracking suspects, searching vehicles, looking for vehicles, missing persons cases, and they do send drones into neighborhoods to collect video sometimes.
Well, heads up, large drones are flying down the shore, but officials say there's nothing to worry about.
The FAA is testing its drone detection abilities. They're operating several large drones and more than 100 commercial drones near the Cape May Ferry terminal. This will occur over the next 2 weeks. According to President Trump, the drones that caused a stir last year were authorized to fly by the FAA, though President Biden has not confirmed that.
Don't be surprised if you see drones flying over South Jersey during the next several days. The FAA is testing large drones and about 100 commercial off-the-shelf drones. It's part of a drone detection test being done near the Delaware River and Bay Authority Ferry Terminal in Cape May. In December, people reported seeing mysterious drones in the night sky, leaving many worried. It was later determined some of those sightings were misidentified planes.
At the Cape May Lewis Ferry Terminal, out of the ordinary action in the air.
They will see things that they haven't seen because this is testing that's new.
The FAA is using the terminal property as a drone detection testing ground. Several large drones and more than 100 of the smaller off-the-shelf variety will be launched here, flown over the water and near the ferry terminal through April 25th.
Drones can launch from the back part of our green behind the terminal and be immediately over water. So there's no threat to, residential housing.
Sources say there's no connection between this testing and the widespread drone activity that led to hysteria last year. The White House later revealed those drone flights had been authorized by the FAA for research and other reasons. The work here is part of a larger effort to test drone detection systems at both airport and off-airport locations to not only measure their effectiveness, but also to determine if the technologies might interfere with FAA or aircraft navigation systems. The University of Alaska Fairbanks is heavily involved in this sort of research.
We are working on safely integrating drones with manned aircraft, traditional aircraft, in the airspace.
The operations will only be happening during daytime hours and on weekdays. Authorities say if you have a drone, don't fly it around here when the testing is underway.
Safety is the main priority.
Upwards of 40 people are taking part in the testing, some from very far away. Officials say their stay provides a pre-summer boost for Cape May County.
The economic impacts for this type of activity are immediate, and then there's also long-term.
A Jersey Shore transportation hub helping to make the skies safer.
And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones, In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy. A statement from the President of the United States to start this briefing with some news. And with that, I will turn it over to questions.
But before that hearing, members of the Senate Armed Services Committee and officials from the Pentagon met in private. We're told that briefing focused on how the military is responding to drones. Remember these? Last year's dramatic increase in drone activity all across the Northeast. NewsNation's Rich McHugh was covering it then. He's covering it now, joins us live. So, Rich, what are we learning about today's meeting?
Hi, Nicole. So the Senate Armed Services Committee met with members of the military. The meeting lasted about an hour in a very sensitive area of the Capitol building. We spoke with senators on the way out. They were very tight-lipped about what they discussed. Senator Tommy Tuberville, we asked him what was discussed. He said drones. We asked, did you learn anything from the Department of Defense about those drones over the Northeast and New Jersey? Here's what he had to say. He downplayed essentially that these were anything but personal or local drones. Take a listen.
We're going to run into that when you sell them over the counter. You're going to continue to have problems with that. You hate to put regulations on all that, but eventually that's going to happen when you have more and more access to the bigger drones, the drones that go farther, cameras, have different things on them. You know, they can be very dangerous used as a weapon, but again, it's all about catching up with technology, and again, anything that's unmanned can be used in a lot of different ways, as we're seeing overseas.
But here's the thing. The chair of the Armed Services Committee did not downplay this. Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi made the bombshell claim to CBS News last week that the Pentagon and the National Security Advisors are still mystified about the drone activity last year. And after key revelations from the NORAD NORTHCOM Chief General Gregory Guillot at the previous Armed Services Committee and threat about these drones, here's what he had to say.
Senator, the primary threat I see for them in the way they've been operating is detection and perhaps surveillance of sensitive capabilities on our installations. There were 350 detections reported last year on military installations, and that was 350 over a total of 100 different installations of all types and levels of security.
Yeah. Now, what these officials are saying essentially runs contrary to what the White House apparently told us back in January. They said that these drones were authorized by the FAA. The FAA, when I asked, directed us back to the White House for comment, Nicole.
All right, so Rich, you were in New Jersey speaking with law enforcement officials there throughout all of this. What are they saying?
I checked in with them again this morning. Two of the sheriffs that I've been in regular contact with said they've stopped seeing these drones. They still see the planes, but they've stopped seeing the drones, and they're kind of upset about the lack of information that they've been given. I spoke with Sheriff Sean Golden. He's the sheriff of Monmouth County, kind of the epicenter of this whole ordeal last December. Here's what he had to say.
I think in this day and age, particularly in a post 9/11 era, particularly in an area of threats and risk assessments, when we have an agency withholding information like that and not telling their own federal partners that were involved in this and not telling state and county and local officials what was happening, it really is disturbing to me, and something needs to be done. And I'm going to continue to push Congress for reform, and obviously there needs to be some accountability on this.
So if, as the chair of the Armed Services Committee says, that they are still mystified by these drone sightings, then we have a lot more to uncover in the coming weeks and months, Nicole.